Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to my manga read along of Sayonara Eri, sponsored by Big Choco Boss. I'm a teensy bit worried because I just kind of clicked. It's 190 pages. One chapter sounds so short, but 190 pages, But also, Big Choco Boss said that the pages don't always have old text, but I feel like then I'm going to want to talk about the page, and maybe that will take longer than just reading the page. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to see how far I get after an hour and a half or so, and then plan if I'm going to do like a part 2 or something. But yeah, this is my first ever sponsored manga read along. Whenever I did One Piece manga read alongs, it would take me like 2 hours to read 4 chapters. So, I mean, let's see how it goes. I am excited though because the author is the same author as Chainsaw Man, and I do like the Chainsaw Man story, not even thinking about the anime, right? I'm thinking about characters and story and themes. I do really like that. So I'm still very excited to hear or to see what this is about. If you sponsor a manga, make it Monster Musume for the plot. Okay, so in the live chat we have Cherry and Sotos, Tiago, Hunter, and the sponsor Big Choco Boss. And I'm just gonna read on my app because I have the Shonen Jump app and it's on Shonen Jump, as you can see there. Should I read the about? No, I'm not going to. I'm just gonna jump straight in. Special one shot. I will just listen to you without knowing anything, just for fun. I do know there are some people here who have already read it, and maybe some others who might be reading it with me for the first time. So yeah. Goodbye Eri by Tatsuki Fujimoto. I got a smartphone for my birthday. This is my mom and dad. And this is me. I just started middle school. Whoop! Ta-da! Here's my birthday cake. It's shortcake with whipped cream. Happy 12th birthday, Utah. Utah, listen. As your mom, can I make a small request? A smartphone at 12. What grade are you in at 12? I know it's more common nowadays to get a smartphone young, but I'm trying to just remember when I got a phone. Not even mentioning smart. I was maybe around 13 or something as well. So, You know how I could die from my illness. How does that make you feel? She asked that on his birthday? Hey, son, here's your birthday cake. How would you feel if I died? I don't feel like talking about that on my birthday. Utah, listen. I want you to start shooting videos of me. On video, you can hear my voice and see me move. That way, even if I'm gone, you can still remember me. Can you do that for me? You could have asked before his birthday. But okay. So he says okay, and she says thank you, and I guess the dad is kind of looking like... Hi, Adam. Happy 12th birthday. We're on a family trip to the aquarium. Dad's here too because he's off work. Dun dun dun. Here's the finished parfait. Let me see how it tastes. A stray cat. Mom and Dad are watching TV. They're laughing. So maybe he's because she gave him the smartphone and she wants to record videos. She wants him to record videos using the smartphone. But still, I feel like there's a better way to ask that, but okay. Mom's gonna poo. No filming in here. Stray cat number 4. Mom's about to take a bath. Camera off, Buster. Dad's crying in secret. Dad's asleep. Mom too. I'm keeping watch in case she dies in her sleep. My parents bought me a PC because my smartphone ran out of space. I've shot about 6 total hours of videos now. This is mom all dressed up. It's date night. I'm in the hospital for tests. It's surprisingly comfy. How many points do you give Dad's cooking? 50. Out of? Dad's crying. This is Taguchi the nurse. Taguchi the nurse. She's close to my mom. It's Taochi. This is a scrape I got. Looks nasty. My video files crossed the 40-hour mark. Whoa. I'm staying home from school starting tomorrow because mom's in the hospital for real now. This is my face right now. I'm unwell all the time now. It feels like this might last until I die. This is the hospital food. It tastes bland. I don't know if it's the food or my taste buds. Hey now, kiddo, there's no need to film your dad. I cooked this. How many points do I get? 2. My mother would have been like, imagine getting a PC because your phone is full. My mother would have been like, delete something, you more. But she doesn't want him to delete the videos of her. But he could have deleted the videos of the stray cats maybe, but still it would have gotten full eventually. Okay, then there's his mom and some toothbrushes. I have over 100 hours of video files now. Also, I guess my mom might not have long now. I still can't wrap my head around it, so I'm not even sad about it. No, I'm sad. I am. And then there's ants eating a grasshopper. Yuta, your mom's in her final moments now. Yuta, it's time to go to the hospital. Your mom, she wants you to film her until her dying breath. What the hell is up with this mother? I don't know how I feel about this. Like, what was that show I recently watched when someone... Oh, it was... I don't want to spoil anyone. But it was... Mute me if you don't want a movie spoiler for a Ghibli movie. Mute me, mute me, mute me, mute me. Until I put my finger down. In... What was it called? No, I forgot the name. Gone with the Wind. No. Rise with the Wind. The Rise of the Wind? Anyway, with that movie, the sickly woman stayed with her husband for like up until a certain point, and then she went to the hospital so that she like wouldn't be a burden on him and so that he could remember her in a beautiful way. This is a different choice. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's different. Yuta, come here. Where are you going? Yuta, a 12-year-old boy nonetheless. Like, if you're asking your husband, maybe I'll understand. But you're asking your 12-year-old son, like, ugh. Okay. Yuta, hey, Yuta, come back. Yuta. And then he's running. And he's looking very frustrated while running. And there's explosions behind him. The hospital's exploding and as he's running. Yes, Sotos, I'm not making this up. It is in the manga. Goodbye, Mom! Boof! And he blew up the hospital, apparently. But now, actually, we're seeing a movie theater. So we're watching people watching a movie. So maybe this was like a student film. And he wanted to end it with a bang. So then, understandably, the kids look pretty shocked. That was a documentary from Class 1B's Yuta Ito, Dead Explosion Mother. Next up is a performance by the Pop Music Club. My movie just finished playing. Let's see what everybody thinks. I think I speak for all of us when I say I have like no idea what the heck we just watched. Ha 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 ha. Real talk, it's hard to sing after watching such a crappy movie. Haha, okay, you guys, let's get back on track. Here's our first song, Stop Sun. I'm glaring at a sun that went bad. I need a kickstart. All the same faces, same friends. Families never apart. The only thing that's ever moved is my girl's heart. Yeah. Okay. Yuta, come with me. Hey, stop recording. Put your phone away. I am partly responsible for not screening it beforehand. Still, you should know better than to make a movie like that. Tiago says his singing is just as bad as the movie. I did it on purpose because he was making fun of him. Even though it was totally weird, the movie, if his mom really did that and it wasn't all just some kind of crazy act, I judge his mom for his weird sense of normalcy. What is normal? He probably thought it was normal to show kids his mom dying and exploding because she thought it was normal to ask her 12-year-old to film her while dying. It's making a mockery of your mother's death. No, it's not. It's his way of honoring her death and dealing with it. Why did you go and turn it into a movie? That's just wrong. Why would you do that? I know. I would also ask, why did the mom ask her son to film it? Why? Why would you do that? I had about 100 hours of footage, so I edited it down so it'd be easier to watch. Then I added some good sounding music and I just had a movie. Don't you feel bad for your late mother showing a video like that? No. That ending. Why did you have the explosion in the end? That was awesome, right? Do you think a person's death is awesome? What is wrong with you? Whoa. What did I think? The ending sucked. It made me sick to my stomach. I have serious doubts about your sense of morals. No, that's not his fault. Yuta, come back. Yuta, what's this? Okay. Put yourself in your mom's shoes. You're despicable. He did put himself in his mom's shoes. I think that's exactly what his mom would have wanted. Why else would she ask, please film me as I die? Why? Why would you turn that into a movie? It was one bad movie. It was shit. My mom died too last year. That's why I can't forgive you. But not for turning it into a movie. That's not the problem. Why'd you add the explosion at the end? Hey, all. This one goes out to all the people who made fun of... Uh-oh, he's gonna kill himself. If you're watching this, then I'm already... Oh my god. If you're watching this, then I'm already dead. I've committed suicide by jumping off the roof of the hospital where my mom died. I put the entirety of my middle school... Like, it was clearly a sign for help because his mother did some weird shit and he did some weird shit. And why did everyone make fun of him instead of getting him to a psychologist? By jumping off the roof of the hospital where my mom died, I put the entirety of my middle school life into making that movie. Yes. Because of your mom forcing you to film 100 hours of her slowly dying. Do you guys have any idea how it feels to get mocked? Are you thinking, why would you kill yourself over that? He's 12. He's not 22. Like, your brain works differently at 22 than it does at 12. You can't judge the kid the same way you would judge an adult who did that. If that's how you feel, you deserve to die too. Oh, Dad, when you find this video, I have a request. Please don't be sad. Show this video to the jerks who made fun of me. Make them remember me for the rest of their lives. This world is filled with death. Memento mori. This is Yuta, signing off. Goodbye. So then he walks up to the hospital roof. Walking. He looks at the railing. He looks at the cars. Don't jump with the phone. It's gonna break. No, wait, that's not the problem here. Don't jump. Period. Sorry. This story has a weird sense of humor, so I'm just rolling with it. Then someone asks, are you gonna jump? So I bet this is Eri, who might be sick and getting some fresh air on the roof. And she might end up saving him, and then she'll die at the end, but then he will have learned how to deal with death. This is my prediction. Okay, there is Eri. If you want to die, don't do it here. You'll hurt the hospital's reputation. Go die at the hospital near the station. The doctors there are total jerks. Do it there. Also, if you're serious about dying, The money in your wallet. Huh? Wait a sec. No way. Are you by any chance Yuta Ito from Dead Explosion Mother? Yeah, that's me. If he jumped, he have to film it. What his mother would have wanted it. You should have set up a camera down there, though. You could jump with the phone, it would have broken. Okay, so then come with me. And then running, and she's running, and now she's walking, and she's pulling him. And now they're at an abandoned building that probably used to be a hospital. And they're walking through, and then there's a door, and then there's a couch with a mangas in the back, and then a projector. And then they're watching a movie from the projector. Why are you showing me a movie? No talking during the movie. Who are you? Is this place yours? I'll tell you if you keep quiet for the next 9 hours. After this movie, we're watching 4 more. And no, it's not my place. We're trespassing in an abandoned building. I bought the projector. And then he's just looking at her, and then he just keeps watching the movie, and then there's a blank space. Okay, yeah, guys, I might be able to finish this. We're already 50 pages in. I was worried for nothing. Thanks for the charger. It's 2 a.m. I'm leaving. Why are you recording me? Bigger question. The movies were good and all, but who are you, and why'd you show them to me? I didn't tell you yet? No, you didn't. You haven't seen that many movies, have you? I've seen the movies they play on TV. That's not nearly enough. You have to watch more. Why? I agree with this girl. I like her. Watch more movies. But not just the hyped up shit. The good ones from like iconic ones and like the weird obscure ones. I'm joking. I only recently started watching more movies myself. Because you can't make a film everyone will like unless you've watched a ton of them. Oh, great. Are you one of those people who have a problem with my movie? Oh, I had plenty of problems with it, but it had an edge you rarely see, and the surprises outnumbered its faults. It's an immature work for sure, yet despite it running for close to 20 minutes, I could watch it all without getting bored. And the way it blurred the line between fact and fiction, for me, that was a good puzzle. What's this about? You still haven't answered me. What do you mean the line between fact and fiction? His mother died, that was a fact, and then there was an explosion, that was fiction. There is no blur. The only thing that's blurry was the footage because he is 12 and he shot it on his phone. I also sometimes do things and then the video blurs and then your movie was super awesome. Okay, so this girl understands his weirdness. But it was just as frustrating as it was good. I was the only person at that gym who was crying. Everyone else used it as material for their jokes, and that really pissed me off. That's why you're going to make another movie. From tomorrow on for the next year, you're going to increase your input by watching loads of movies. Then in the next year, you'll shoot a movie and show it to the school at the school festival. Next time, don't you want to make them all bawl their eyes out? I like this girl. She's cool. But I bet she's gonna die. Because this anime manga is called Goodbye Eri. I like the sound of that. But maybe that's what they want you to think. They called it Goodbye Eri so that you think she's gonna die. But then boom, she doesn't. He dies. Or no one dies. I'll be your manager. Don't worry. I'm confident. I watch more movies than anyone in this town. Okay, I think I get it now. But who are you anyway? I'm Eri. Put her there. Yeah. Okay, and then there's some stuff. I don't know what that is. Maybe just the floor. And then there's the sky with the stars. The stars are out. We're back, folks. Dad, I'm home. Duh. Oh, welcome home. You guys, did you know life is beautiful, bright, and pure? Is he drunk? To anyone considering suicide, don't throw your life away. We all die one day. You should give your life a try until your number comes up. Wishing you all well. This is Yuta signing off. Thanks. Goodbye. Fujimoto does a really good job of making the panel feel like a film. Yeah. Especially with the consistent 4 panels. Isn't the if every page has 4 panels like that, is it called 4 comma? But I don't think this is a regular 4 comma or whatever it's called, but it makes me think of that word. During class, I want you to summarize the 5 movies we watched yesterday in 1 sentence each. Once you've managed that, break their stories down into an exposition, rising action, climax, and resolution in a way that you can explain them to me. I'll listen to your answers after school. If I do that, I'll be able to make a good movie. This is how they do it in Hollywood. Don't you trust Hollywood? No, I do not. Well, I guess I would say I don't trust today's Hollywood to make good movies, at the very least. But I'm sure this was long ago, back when movies were still just, interesting movies. And after that, in the last scene, the protagonist is able to move forward with a positive attitude. The end. Did I do that right? I guess that's the best I can expect at the start. I'll accept it. Come on, what's with that? Let's buy dinner at a convenience store. After school, we'll watch 3 movies minimum every day at that spot. 3 movies a day? Wow, that's... Okay. We all know if you want good movies, someone have to die. You're really gonna eat all that? It's not like I'll put on weight anyway. Oh, well, that's a red flag. She clearly has an illness. Maybe that eats at her body. Because he met her at the hospital on the roof, and now she's saying that she won't get fat. And she's just not like, your average girl, so there's some darkness. Not in her, I just mean in her situation. Imagine their Google Sheet schedule. movie, talk about movie, school. No. Sleep, school, talk about movies. Movie. Sleep, school, talk about movies. Movie. And eat in between. And after that, in the last scene, the protagonist is able to move forward. Wait, I went the wrong way. I paged it like a normal book. I went the wrong way. Okay, so then they watch the movies and they eat together. Bye. Meet me here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Huh? We're watching movies on days off from school too? What, you don't want to? You should be glad you get to spend all day with a babe like me. If you have an extracurricular in the way, then quit it. And so she walks away. And then there's a movie called Kill Nutrition. Oh, it wasn't manga. It was obviously movies behind her. Okay, so then there's one called Kill Nutrition instead of Kill Bill, I guess. And they're watching and they're getting dinner and they're watching and his face looks disgusted. And then there's more food, and then he looks happy in that one, and then there's more movie choosing. That one looks like a Jackie Chan movie for sure. That's Jackie Chan on the cover. And then he looks tired in that one, and then he looks like he's not really, what's going on? And then he was like, what's going on? And then he's looking like, oh my God, my mind, oh my God, I didn't expect that. And then he's laughing in the last one. And now they're at the cinema and they're going to watch a movie at the movies. But her eyes look really tired there or something. So maybe she's getting sicker. I don't know. You actually like cliched stuff, don't you? I ask because you cried during the heroine's death scene. What a shallow analysis. I cried because the story resonated with my own life. Also, don't you have this habit of making a low-key peace sign whenever characters score a win? Maybe. Well, you say, oh yeah, every time there are nipples on the screen. Oh yeah. It's his version of Jackie Chan movie when Jackie jumps from a building and instead of going in the next building, he falls and dies. Oh, yeah. Do to, do not. I wouldn't be that crude. You sure you aren't saying it unconsciously? I don't. Really, I don't say it. Oh no, you say it all right. Do to, do not. Do to, do not. Oh, yeah. See? See what? Nothing. No, really. What? Never mind. How would you say oh yeah in Japanese? Japan Japanese to English. I'm sure it won't translate right. Oh, actually the other way around. Oh yeah. Ah, そうだね. No, it's not that. Definitely not that. Oh, and then yeah, like the twins from YouTube. Does anyone have the like Japanese page of this page 70? What? Come on, tell me. Forget it. It's nothing. It has to be something, right? What is it? You're freaking me out. Be quiet. Ow. It's bugging me so much I can't focus on the movie. Shut up already. I think you're ready to plot out your next movie. Plot out? What's that? It's deciding the basic outline of the story before you write the screenplay. Oh, huh. And I'm coming up with this? No, duh. Hey, like, wouldn't it be better for someone else to write it? You could come up with a better story than I could, Eri. You watch more movies than me. It has to be you. Why? I want to watch your movie, because I'm in love. And then he makes that face for some reason. Like, maybe like he's shocked. He was recording himself being shocked. Did you just confess to me? No, you idiot. I'm in love with your movies. Besides, if I made the movie, it wouldn't be a school festival rematch. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Here, I'll give you a potato stick, so go think up a plot. A potato stick, not a potato chip. So, okay, now she's reading and she's reading. What do you think? It's, how can I put this? Average? Come up with something else. Too normal. Boring. Boring. Average. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Bring me something else. It's not quite right. I give up. I surrender. I cry uncle. Blah, blah, blah. Gah, my heart's a slushy mess at this point. I can't even tell what's good or not anymore. Well, I can, so stop worrying. Write with confidence. Why are you standing so far away? You know, I always meant to ask, what exactly did you like about my movie? You're the only person in the world who says it's good. Everyone else called it crappy so much that even I don't know what I liked about it anymore. First of all, the part where you run away from the hospital. In your movie, the plot progressed like a touching story. But seriously, asking your middle school-age son to record his own mother's death, isn't that just cruel? Finally, someone said it. Someone in the story. So when you ran away from the hospital as it exploded, it felt cathartic to me. The next thing that moved me was how beautifully you always shot your mother. If it were me, I'd be really happy having someone capture me that beautifully. Also, I like your character. He's good. Even though your mother was the one in the title, you were the most likable character in the movie. So in your next movie, I don't want to see someone else's story. I want to see your story. Someone who actually noticed? Yeah, I'm surprised too. I'm really surprised. Am I though? I wanted to say I'm really surprised that there's really not one teacher that like noticed this kid. It's a cry for help, and the mother was kind of the problem here. I mean, not that she was like evil or anything, but it was kind of, I understand her mind. I mean, dying at a younger age when your son's only 12, and like, I mean, of course it's understandable that I'm not saying she's bad, but like screaming at him is not really gonna solve anything, you know, like how could you do that? Like, so I was gonna say I'm surprised that not one teacher thought about this. But on the other hand, when I think about public school teachers, sometimes most of the time. I guess I'm just not so surprised after all. Okay, and then there's food. And a hair in my mouth. Dad, when you think of me, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I'd say you're all about movies. Movies, I guess. And when you think about my movies, what comes to mind? Explosions? Yeah, maybe explosions. Ever since you were little, you've always sprinkled a pinch of fantasy into everything. A pinch of fantasy? That's right. Like when you drew me in kindergarten, you gave me a dragon's face. That time we took a family trip to the zoo, you were talking to the giraffe the entire time. Oh, hey, now that I think about it, how come you're recording right now? Good looking food, full points. I'm hungry now. I'm gonna eat afterwards. Special one shot. Da, da, da. Okay, so there's a panel of wood, a panel of wood, and then a guy crying in the rain, which I think is on the TV, and then Eddie is watching. But it's cool how he, like, the lighting on her face shows how the screen is changing, which is also something that happens a lot when I'm recording a reaction to something, and like suddenly it's a white screen, and then it's like a different. So that's pretty cool. So the protagonist's mom buys him a smartphone. Then she tells him, I'm sick and I'm going to die. Follow me until my dying breath. Then, partway through the entire movie. Wait, isn't that the same story as your last movie? There's more. The protagonist couldn't bring himself to film his mother's death. Then he makes a crappy movie and gets ragged on big time for it. So, our wounded protagonist decides to jump to his death from the hospital roof. When he gets up to the roof, enter Vampire Girl. The protagonist gets abducted and taken to this building. Just when he thinks she's going to drink his blood, she makes him watch a bunch of movies. And then the vampire orders the protagonist to make a movie. Right. After that, the two of them watch tons of movies, come up with a plot, and haven't come up with the rest yet. Come up with it right now. Wow, this guy's not very good at writing stories. It has to really have happened to him. That's the saddest part sometimes. Like, you can have good writers that make up these fantasy stories, but then sometimes the best writers, they draw from experience, so you realize they're not necessarily like good story thinker-uppers, but if you realize that, wow, this happened to them or something like this happened to them, then it becomes sad. Like, oh. But not in like a completely sad way, because, you know, through the creating process, they also, maybe that was their way of processing it, so. The protagonist's problem probably isn't the fact that his film got made fun of. Maybe it's that he didn't record his mother's death. That's it. The truth is, the protagonist regrets running away. And then, yeah, the vampire actually doesn't have long to live. She's lived for 1,000 years, but she's about to die from an illness or something. Despite living for 1,000 years, she's afraid of being forgotten. So the vampire wants the protagonist to shoot a movie she'll be in. As they shoot the movie, the protagonist and the vampire fall in love, but the vampire is growing weaker and weaker. Finally, what was that noise? Finally, I filmed the vampire's death, and their love story is over. Having filmed to death the thing he couldn't do for his mother, the protagonist regains the will to live and the confidence to make movies. The end. But now he's drawing on real world stuff, but he's putting into words feelings of hers that might not even be hers. Like, he's deciding for her how she feels, and even if that is how she feels or what's the truth, maybe she's not ready to deal with it, but maybe him bringing it up helps her to deal with it. So let's see how this goes. Sounds like it could be good, right? It's semi-autobiographical, so if I use myself as the protagonist, I think the meta aspect will go over well with the students who saw my movie last year. Plus, the videos of my mom and the scenes of people trash talking me are all real, so I can use unscripted, unacted lines. If you're recycling old footage, I assume I'm playing the vampire. You know it. All that's left is to write down the plot in a little more detail, and I bet you could whip up a screenplay in no time. Sounds good. Right, before I write the screenplay, will you meet my dad? Sure. When I told him we were shooting a movie, he said he wanted to meet you. My dad's a chatterbox. He's going to talk your ear off. So then here they are sitting and eating dinner, and he's filming it. And then, okay, wait. So they this is the food, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels of them just eating. 8, 9, 10, 11, and he wipes his nose. 12. So he just said his father's a chatterbox, and then for 12 panels, they say nothing. Look, I'm sorry to ruin this nice meal, but as Yuta's father, there's something I need to get off my chest. Eri, I want you to stop pushing Yuta to make this movie. Dad, what are you saying? Let him. I saw how much Yuta was hurt by his mother's passing. I saw how much it hurt him when he made that movie to vent his feelings too. My son's been happier since meeting you, and for that I can't thank you enough. But even so, if making this new movie hurts him again, this time it might damage his ability to move forward beyond repair. I once aimed to be a creator myself, so I know how it goes. When you create a work you're confident in and others take your creation and mock it and treat it like a plaything, it messes you up. But Dad, I chose to... Yuta, be quiet. Eri, get out of this house. I don't want you near Yuta ever again. Do you hear me? I promised my late wife I would protect this family. Protect him from trauma? I'm sorry, but I think that went out the window when your wife asked him to film her dying. I promised my late wife that I'd protect this family. You leave our family alone. I'm begging you, just leave us be. So yeah, as messed up as the poor kid is, the dad seems pretty messed up too. And then he's sitting there pouting for 4 panels. And cut. Phew! How'd I do? Oh my god, he was acting. How'd I do? My acting wasn't too stiff? Oh no, sir. You were very good. Glad to hear it. He was so good, I was totally believing him. Glad to hear it. I did theater with my friends after college. I up and quit when I didn't succeed right away, though. Really, though, Eri, thank you for spending so much time with Yuta. I mean it. Not at all. I'm glad to. It's a lot of work to film a movie, isn't it? How much have you shot? Oh, this is so nice. His dad is like encouraging them. I was like thinking, yeah, this is typical. But then actually he was not being typical. He was being all encouraging. That's so sweet. We have about 1/3 left to shoot. Really? Isn't that something? So this sounds like the scene we just did, but are you sure you're okay with letting Yuta shoot this movie? If he makes a bad movie, it really will get mocked and treated like a plaything. Me and Yuta and you too, won't we all get hurt? Well, to quote a friend of mine, creation is all about getting into the audience's problems to make them laugh and cry, right? Well, it wouldn't be fair if creators didn't get hurt too, would it? Interesting. Interesting take. That was a good line, right? Should we shoot another take of that? Yes, absolutely. That was a good line. This guy is kind of crazy. Just like his wife, but less crazy, but still kind of crazy. But he's crazy in the more interesting way, and she was just traumatizing. But I guess that's why he married her. He saw something interesting and traumatizing in her. We should take another blah blah blah. Okay, and then there's the sky and the ocean and the waves and the shoreline, and then Eri playing in the water. Eri, if you're a vampire, how can you be out in the sunlight? A little bit doesn't hurt. I spend most of my time inside watching movies. Okay, then do garlic and crosses not affect you either? I hate garlic. I hate scallions and onions too. How old are you? Your real age? I'm about 1,200 years old. 12. Over your long life, have you gone through any struggles? It makes me sad that everyone I know will die before me. Humans die in a scant 100 years. Mm-hmm. Not even on average, but maybe in Japan. It's closer, but still. That's why I envied you, huh? If you watch your movie, you get to see your mother again, don't you? Isn't that incredible? A beautiful thing. You're the only one who praises me, Eri. Hee hee. You always watch movies with me. You're even acting in my movie for free. I wish I could thank you somehow. Then let me drink your blood. Oh no, what? This might be real. I heard that Megan Fox and her boyfriend, the Machine Gun Kelly or something, do blood rituals and drink each other's blood, so maybe they saw that and they decided to copy it. I'm kidding. That's why she looks so good. I mean, I thought she's always looked good, and she only recently started doing this with her boyfriend. Like, I don't think they've dated that long. Okay, so then he reaches out to her, but she faints because her illness is taking effect. I guess. Totami Hospital. I came to visit. Huh? Are you recording? I sent you a get well video. Really? What is it? I never got to record my mom going to the bathroom. It's a video of him pooping. So just to be safe, I'm recording this video of me pooping for posterity. Ew! Ha 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 ha. Do you guys want to hear something really gross? So, is it Gintama related? No. It's worse. It's so much worse. So much worse. It's bad. It's like level 9 disturbing. Why did I decide to eat now? But yes. Sorry, Cherry. It's level 9, not disgusting, but disturbing. Like, I don't want to judge anyone involved, but I do find it disturbing. Let's just put it that way, right? To each their own and whatnot, but anyway. So, I was on OnlyFans, right? And that was fine because it doesn't promote anyone else's content unless you follow them. So you have to search someone and then follow them. And then you see other things on your feed. If you don't follow anyone, you only see I only see my own stuff or whatever. And I posted reactions mainly on the feed. And then sometimes I did the bikini and lingerie content in DMs. But then some stuff happened and I had to move over to Fansly, right? And Fansly is like, you can't, it's fucking boobs in your face and penis and like, you can't, there's just too much little things over there. Like, I mean, with their banners and their profile pictures, and it's just boobs and everything. And then also, even if I'm going through like my own stuff, or because I do follow like one other girl that doesn't do nudity and stuff, so it kind of like, it gives me, oh, that's a good idea, I can do that bikini content or something. But even if you just do that, you go through your feed, there's like for you, and it's not for you based on people maybe it's based on people you follow, but everything's just fucking, it's like, what? They're just pushing all the most popular creators on the platform, I guess, down, like, watch this. So one time, one of the things that they were pushing was this a pregnant lady, right? And okay, she's pregnant and she's in the bikini, no problem, that's cute. But I was thinking to myself, oh, that looks wholesome and like, I mean, I don't know how, but and then I clicked on the profile because that's what they do. They suck you in, and that's how they get people to stay on their platform longer. And I clicked, and then I instantly regretted it because her bio is like, I'm a dirty mama, bitch. I do shitting videos and this and blue de blue and all this stuff and like pooping video. And that's why I thought of pooping videos, because they only ever. And I'm like, people find this attractive. People find pooping videos attractive. Like, oh, wow. So that's the only other place I've ever heard, oh, you recorded pooping? Interesting. But on the other hand, now that we're talking about pooping and fansly, I also heard in some countries, I don't know if it happens in this country, but, and I don't know where this happens, and I don't remember who told me this, but I heard there are people that pay girls to like, oh no, let's not talk about this. Never mind. It's just going further and further irrelevant. You didn't go through the traumatic event of your school passing around the video. I didn't. I didn't have any friends. No one passed me anything. But I think I know what you're talking about, because I remember specifically while someone was telling me about these girls that get paid to do this thing, Hanku and Franku were like, oh my god, you haven't heard of this movie? And I was like, no. What movie? And then apparently there's like, it's a thing. But I mean, I knew it was a thing because I've seen similar stuff. That's why I could only watch like 2 episodes of, not even. I could only watch the first episode and then a little bit of the second episode of the other hentai shit. Emphasis on shit. And then I was just like, wow, people are interesting in the worst kind of ways. And I don't know. But anyway, this looks pretty wholesome. It's more like a joke kind of thing, and they're 12, but it can get weird really fast. Really fast. I'm worried how jaded I am, since I was bracing myself for worst when a friend got to me to watch 2 Girls in 1 Cup. Oh yeah, that was the name. Yeah, Hanku mentioned that. So they saw it when it was being passed around school, but I never saw that. And I will never see it. God. Anyway, back to, okay, he made the video of himself pooping for posterity. Spare yourself and just never. Unsupervised internet access as a kid is problematic. Oh, yes, dear God, yes. Definitely. Holy crap, yes. And, you know, the internet is still relatively new. So I think we haven't worked out all the kinks about how to integrate it into society, really. And we haven't even figured out the internet and how to integrate that into society. And now AI is going to start like, I don't know what's going to happen. Mainly because I didn't have the kind of friends that would show me that. Thank God. I didn't have friends. Anyway, have you ever watched a video of someone pooping before? Of course not. That's gross. I have lots of even nastier videos. I'll show them to you once you're better. Please don't. Why? Why? What could be nastier than a video of you pooping? I don't want to know. I don't know. Now this is getting really weird. I was feeling sad for him before, and now it's just getting really weird, and I really want him to go see a psychiatrist. You don't get better. Huh? You don't get better. It's that kind of illness. I just thought I had more time. This isn't about the movie, is it? Why? Didn't you say anything? When I saw your movie, the truth is, I related to your mom. I know how it feels to want someone to film your death. It feels like, yeah, because you're 12 and you don't have a sense of, maybe I shouldn't traumatize my child forever. Like, and once again, why couldn't you ask your husband? We're your child. Oh, I get it, because it's a story. And if she didn't ask him and traumatize him, there would be no story. I know how it feels to want someone to film your death. It feels like that way in a movie you could keep living. I envied her for that. I have a have you guys seen Afterlife by that Ricky Gervais? I have a request. I want you to film me until the moment of my death, just like in the plot you came up with. Will you? What the hell? How can you I mean, how can you ask me to do that? Who would want to do that? And then he runs away again. Sidewalk, foot, shadow, gate, gate shadow, leaf shadow, foot, blur, school, kids, a kid, trees, roof, roof, roof. I heard about Eri. Aren't you going to school? Just leave me alone. Hey, Utah, what? Get out of my room already. Your mom's final moments. I recorded them. Do you want to see? Oh, you mean you could have been the one doing it all along? Ah, how shocking and unexpected. You have seen what? Do you mean about that movie of we were talking about earlier? Utah won't come out of the car. So since it's your wish, I'll be recording. Why isn't Utah here? Why? Utah, he doesn't want his mom to die, so he couldn't make it this far. Okay, right. That boy was useless to the very end. Utah, hurry up and record. What are you waiting for? Don't you realize I could die? I'd look ugly in a shot framed like that. Can't you tell that much? Do you want everyone to laugh at how ugly I am? There's no point in filming cats. Delete that. Are you stupid? Why won't you film as I told you? Remember, the money for that smartphone came out of my pocket. You remember your mother was a TV producer, right? Why did this husband allow this bullshittery to go on? Did he feel too bad because his wife was dying? To say anything? Because, really, why do you allow this as the husband, as the father? But then, what if he told her no and she started screaming and like fighting him, and then he would be looked at as the bad guy? Okay, you remember your mother was a TV producer, right? She'd planned to make a TV documentary about her brave battle against illness after she recovered. Since I'd be at work during the day, she had you to shoot the videos. That is this woman. Son, I knew it was horrible what she was doing to you, but I pretended not to see. I ran away. I acted like everything was okay, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Interesting. Unexpected. That's why when I watched your movie, I was shocked. In the movie, your mom she was a good mom. Yeah, because he only cut out all the bad parts. She said, film me while I look pretty and kind and serene. And then he filmed and he cut out all the ugly shit. That's not fair. I could only see the beautiful things about her. When mom was in a bad mood, she'd give me the silent treatment and she never praised me for anything. But I wanted my memories of her to be beautiful. Utah, you have the power to decide for yourself how you'll remember someone. You can only remember the good parts after you've dealt and processed with the bad parts. Utah, you have the power to decide for it, because if you're just remembering the good shit and not processing the bad shit, you're just lying to yourself. I think maybe Eri wants you to choose how she'll be remembered. But Eri is nice. The mother's movie is a lie. Okay. So then there's Eri, and then Yuta comes and he sits down and they watch the movie. I heard you got discharged for now. Uh-huh. And then they're watching. Can I film your every move from this point on? Thanks. By the way, what's the deal with this video? It's a video of me crapping in a field. Well, at least the plants will grow from the manure, I guess. You did it there? So then he's filming her at an aquarium. He's filming her. It's a completely different dynamic. Like if the mother had asked the father, but then he was too busy. But then you don't just ask your son. You don't ask your 12-year-old child to film you dying. I don't care how sad it is that you're dying. Boo-hoo, people die. I'm gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. You don't traumatize your son's life. Like, you're messing him up. Fucking lucky he found this girl. He would have jumped. He would have died. Because you made him weird and traumatized and he couldn't express that to the world. And then the world was all weirded out and they didn't know how to handle it. And then they mocked him as the world sometimes does. And that's bad too. But it's also bad what you did. And then he was going to jump and he was going to die. If you're a bad person, you mean you do ask? I'm like, okay, sure. She's not the best mother. She's also not the worst. I get that too. Like, there are worse things mothers have done. But anyway, this is different because, wow, I joined at a great time. Dark Shadow. Don't read. No, I'm joking. You should read it. It's very good. But yeah, you've pretty much been spoiled. You've been spoiled on the plot, the entire premise of the movie. I mean, the show, the story. Do you want the Kella Famous recap? Because I can do it pretty quickly. Wow, Kella spoiled another person. I'm so... Oh shit, that is true though. I have to make the title, unless Mike already did that, but I have to make the title Reading Sayonara Eri. Okay, I should have made it that. Reading Sayonara Eri. Sponsor Big Choco Boss. Now it's a bit late. No, both of us forgot, so... But at least it's on the schedule. It's been on the schedule for a week. A quick recap. Okay, so here's the recap. So a mother got her son a phone for his 12th birthday. And then at his 12th birthday, while the cake was right there, she was like, hey, yo, son, I'm dying. Could you record me until I die? Like all of the dying part. And then when I actually die on the deathbed and breathe out my last breath, please record everything. And then he did, and it traumatized him. So he had like hundreds of hours of footage, or 100 hours. And then he turned it into a movie, but in the end, he couldn't film his mom dying. So he ran away, and then he turned it into a 20-minute movie where his mom was like looking all beautiful and dying slowly. And then at the end, as he was running away, the hospital exploded because that was his movie. And then people made fun of him, and he was going to jump off because of the trauma. He couldn't deal with all of this. He was going to jump off the hospital building, but then he found this girl, Eri, on the top, and she was like, no, we're going to watch movies and you're going to learn how to make a great movie. And now they've been, so that you could show those people how great you actually are, because she liked this movie, because she related to the mom, because she's also dying. And she also wants someone to film her. So now she actually spent all this time with him knowing that he'll film her, but it was great for him because he enjoyed the time they spent together. And they became friends and stuff. So now she's dying and he's filming her. And he's finally felt like, I can film her dying. The trauma my mother put me through prepared me for this moment. So that's where we're at. I'd watch this movie too. Generational trauma. Emotional damage. Yeah, this boy is that he's the epitome of emotional damage. Oh, and one important thing, we just got some in-depth moments with his mother off camera, which was, she was actually like a very critical and saying stuff like, delete the stray cat, why did you record it, record me like this, do you want people to think I'm ugly, oh you're so useless. And on her deathbed, Dark Shadow, she said when her husband was filming her because her son couldn't make it because he was traumatized and he couldn't do it, her 12-year-old son, by the way, she said, oh, that boy's always been useless. Okay, so, and now he's watching a video of him, he and her is watching a video of him crapping in a field because he films everything, and you know, there aren't a lot of videos of people pooping in fields, so apparently this is interesting to them. But I mean, they're 12-year-olds find weird things interesting. I mean, when I was like 12, I remember finding a tentacle game on the internet and being like, oh my god, what is this, so interesting. And now that I look back at that moment, I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, why was there no supervision? You know what I'm saying? Me trying to imagine how Dark Shadow is taking this in. Maybe the same way we were taking it in as we were reading, but condensed into like a shorter time period. Okay. So now he is ready to film her. I know my kids won't be able to stop themselves. I'll have some sort of safe search in place. Kids are, that's the thing behind science, right? As, oh, I want to know what's here. What's this about? What's here? Kid brains are like sponges. They want to know everything and learn everything. And oh, thank you. It's very nice blue. I was surprised how much I like it. So yeah, kid brains are like sponges. They want to learn, they want to grow, and that's why, you know, as adults, we teach them how to talk. We try and everyone, what's the word? Everyone kind of brainwashes their kids, if you want to make it like nasty. By teaching them this is important and this is how you speak and this is la la la. And like, there's not one right way to do it. But it's okay to the most part, as long as you're not being overbearing, because your child will grow up and they will be able to make their own decisions later. And be able to think critically, because your critical developing skills, brain stuff, that will also develop naturally. And so they will take what you've taught them and then also question it and blah, blah, blah. That's also if you teach them how to think like an adult eventually. But you know, everyone teaches their kids and stuff. Wait, why was I talking about this? I don't know. Anyway. So then he's now ready to film her dying moments, but she's out of the hospital, the young girl, Eri. And now he's filming her at the aquarium. He's filming her with a giant parfait. He's filming her on the train. He's filming her at a traditional Japanese restaurant / sauna, onsen. He's filming her petting a cat. He's filming her making a funny face. He's filming her, oh my god, that looks intimate. Enough rambling, on to the dying girl. He's filming her in front of a temple. He's filming the two of them, what looks like they're in bed together. He's filming her in the hospital bed. He's filming her outside. He's filming her in the movie theater. And see, like, this is more natural and like wholesome than whatever the mother was doing to him. And they're also in a different relationship. Like I said, if the father was filming all of that with his wife, it's different than asking your 12-year-old to do it, but whatever. I remember one time in first or second grade, I was researching Snow White's story. We didn't have any safe search blocker, and I found a naughty Snow White story instead. I asked my brother what it meant, and he went panicky and said, and was like, delete, delete that, delete, delete. Well, at least you had your brother to ask. I had no one to ask. And my mom wasn't the type of person you could talk to about that kind of thing, you know? Delete that, delete, delete. Okay, and then he's filming her in a wheelchair, and there's like 4 panels of him filming the baggies that go into her. Kayla, tentacles made you a weeb. You are now tentacles made you the weeb you are now. Be proud. Okay, so he's filming the baggies that go into her, you know, feeding her. Why are you going to use the travel scenes in the movie? Yeah. What about the scene where I fell into the water? Should I? Yeah. Remind me, did we shoot any kissing scenes? We did. Can I put them in? I don't know. Should we shoot one more just to be safe? Hee hee. Okay. Are they still 12? I didn't have my first kiss until 14. But I guess that you mature fast when your mother abuses you emotionally and makes you film her death. You mature fast at that time. Also, if you're 12-year-old and you're dying, you need to make that kiss before you die. Good memory. Hee, okay. Utah, why did you make my character a vampire? I guess I wanted to sprinkle in a pinch of fantasy. Plus, the first time we met, you dragged me to an abandoned building out of nowhere. Doesn't that seem like a thing a vampire would do? It does. I thought even if she sucks me dry and kills me, if it means I become sustenance for someone this beautiful, I'm okay with that. Thanks. I wish I could have watched your movie. You can watch it partway through. I've been editing it as we go. I wanted to watch the finished product. Oh, okay. Yeah. How could you watch the finished product if the finished product is you dying? You want to watch? Oh, I wanted to watch myself die. Okay. Hard to say. The movie is for the next year's school festival, so maybe 13. Yeah, well, maybe. Well, I mean, he was 12 when he got the camera or the phone, and then maybe she died within 6 or 7 months. And then maybe 8 or 9 months later, it was a school festival. No, I mean get it on his birthday. 6 months later, she dies. 6 or 7 months. And then at 8 or 9 months, then the school festival. And then he met her. So I don't think it's... Wow, a lot's happening. A lot happens when you're 12. Okay, Eri, what kind of movie do you want me to make? Make it. What kind of movie do you want me to make it? Like what I've told you from the beginning. What was that again? A movie that will make them all bawl their eyes out. And then it's them at the school again watching the movie of her saying that. Did the teacher vet this again or no? So now everyone in the school is crying. And I think he made this victory. Because it's a victory for him and for her, I guess. Utah. Okay, so then there's a different panel. And they're outside and there's a cat. And she says, Utah, yes? What are you recording? A cat. Listen, didn't Eri wear glasses? I filmed her without them at her request. What about her dental retainer? That also came off for shots at her request. So you just mindlessly obeyed your girlfriend? We were only a couple in the movie. I never dated Eri. I did ask her out, but she rejected me. You'd never know that from the movie. But Eri had a temper. She was self-absorbed. Wasn't she actually a pretty big bitch? Yep. She said that's why you and I were her only friends. Your Eri was a little over idealized. Yep. But I'll always remember her like that. Thanks. Well, she was a character in a movie, so. But I'll always remember her like that. Thanks. Okay, and then there's a clip of his mother and his face and a blurring going darker panel, and then there's 4 black panels and 4 more black panels and then 4 more black panels and then 3 more black panels, and then having filmed to death the thing he couldn't do for his mother, the protagonist regains the will to live and the confidence to make movies. The end. That was my character in the movie. In the real world, it didn't work out so smoothly for me. After the school festival, I started holding up in my room instead of going to school. I'd spend all day at my computer recutting Eri's movie. Even though this movie had been well received, I'd always had this nagging feeling it was missing something. My hunch was that I would find the answer in the 2070. My hunch was that I would find the answer in the 2,728 hours of footage from my time with Eri. How many days is 2,800 hours? So 2,800 hours is 116 days. So let's say he filmed her for half the day, 12 hours a day, and that's being generous, right? So that means they spent together 220 days. Makes sense, checks out. 6 months? I don't think so. Not 6 months. Maybe like 8 or 9 months. 6 months seems a little bit too few. How many months is 220 days? 7.2 months, yeah. I think it would be more like 7 to 8 months. 78 months? No, 7 to 8 months. Sorry, I like doing that joke. In the real world, it didn't work out so smoothly. I continued the recuts even after I started college. I'd take classes, go to my part-time job, and when I got home, I'd end the day tinkering with my Eri videos. I dropped out of college and got a full-time... So his mother fucked him up, and then his girlfriend fucked him up more. But the sad part is we were led to believe through the story that they were kind of like dating and falling in love. But that was just a character. So his mother fucked him up, and then this girl fucked him up. She didn't heal him. It wasn't sweet and wholesome. And him processing the trauma of what his mother did to him. It was just adding to the trauma. I dropped out of college and got a full-time job. There I met a woman I would marry. We had a daughter together. Even after that, I cut and recut Eri's movies countless times. A movie I wasn't even going to show to anyone. Well, that's terrifying. I'm so glad I'm not whoever married him. It's not that I was unhappy with my family. If those days had gone by until I died a suitable death, I think I'd have lived a happy life. That sounds like something you say, not something you mean. Like how, okay, I'm going to school now. Now I'm going to college and working part-time. Okay, but now I'm getting a full-time job. Okay, but now I'm getting married because that's what you do. It's like he's following a pattern, not what he's supposed to do. Like Japan has a pretty set rules and stuff. Culture. It's not like the wildest culture. So if you have that kind of, this is what you do. After school, you go to college. After college, you get work. After work, you get a family. Or whatever, Even if you're then very confused or sad or depressed, it's easy to stuff it down because, well, I might as well just do this. And I might as well just do this. And then you never really face your feelings because society tells you, well, this is what you do. It's not that I was unhappy with my family. If those days had gone by until I died a suitable death, I think I'd have lived a happy life. By, I guess, Japan's standards. That day my wife, daughter, and father and myself were all in the car. I was driving. Oh my God. In an instant, everything went dark, like turning a TV off. The next thing I saw was the ceiling of a hospital room. It was explained to me that there had been an accident in front of us and our vehicle had been caught in it, and I was the only member of my family who'd survived. I couldn't process it. It felt like I was watching that kid of a shocking tragedy scene in a movie. Thinking back, it was always like that. I have this bad habit of viewing the problems right in front of me from an outside perspective. My mother's death. Well, that's because no one taught you how to deal with traumatic events. They made you film it. Thank you, Barto, for the sub. It was the same back in high school when I considered suicide like this. I could only face the facts in front of a camera. As a result, I've realized I no longer have enough soul left to endure any more deaths. I'll die in a place that holds memories for me. The end. And then he walks, he turns the camera off, or I guess he doesn't, he takes the camera and walks to the abandoned building, which, he could obviously never really get it go of because he's been editing that video for, he's probably 40, or let's say 37 here. He's been doing this since he was 13. He's been editing those 2,700 hours of content every day. Work, go home, edit a little bit. In between, I guess, get your wife pregnant. Yeah, at least 20 years. So then he goes to this abandoned building because of the... Why is this building still abandoned after 20 years? Why does someone not buy up this lot and make something with it? Okay, but then he goes into the building and into the room where she took him, and it's black. We see the projector is still there after 20 years. The couch, the projector, the rope in a bag. He takes the bag. This world is filled with death. Memento mori. This is Utah signing off. Goodbye. So then he looks to the left, and then Eri is sitting there, which I'm sure, after imprinting her into your brain for 20 years, watching the footage over and over and over again, hallucinations, they be happening. You're a lot older than you were back then. And then she smiles at him, and he looks at her. And he drops his phone and he drops his rope. Okay, I see. Oh, right, this is a dream. No, wait, either that or I've gone crazy and I'm hallucinating. Like in the movie, Permanent Nobara. No, if I had to choose, it's more like the Brown Bunny or the Sixth Sense, except in that one, the protagonist is... Well, thanks. No, I'm joking. I was never going to watch that. But now I kind of want to. No, I'm not going to watch that. I'm pretty sure I saw one scene in that movie and decided, nope. This movie's on the right track, but it's not quite there. Huh? Sure? What? Films that end with a love interest death are a dime a dozen. I think the latter half could use a leap. It's missing a pinch of fantasy, don't you think? You're talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. It does have fantasy. I made you a vampire. That isn't fantasy. I really am a vampire. The proof's right here. I'm still young, aren't I? But you died. I filmed your death. Yeah, I died, but only up here. Give it a year so you forget. No, I'm never going to watch that. Did you know the brain has limited storage space just like a hard drive? In 200 years, a human's brain would fill to bursting and kill them, like the Eri in this movie. But the real me is a vampire, not a human. As long as my heart's intact, I'll never die. I revived 3 days later with all my memories gone. Okay, yeah, and who? Did you just escape out of did they bury you and you just escaped out of the hole? Mm. The lost Eri left me a letter with instructions on how I should live. Apparently, I've lost my memories and started life over again from the beginning, like that dozens of times now. It sounds like a story out of a movie. Exactly. This time I had more than just a letter. This movie was left with it. The movie showed me what kind of person the lost me was. What kind of character she was portrayed to be. You're gonna sponsor it in a year. No, no scary movies allowed. And then he looks at it and he looks down and he looks at her. Will you be able to cope with this? Everyone you love will die before you. Your parents, sweetheart. She doesn't have parents. She's a vampire. Your parents, sweethearts, friends, you'll watch them all die. Won't living like that drive you to despair? I think the lost Eri must have been in despair, yes, but it will be fine because I have this movie. I still think he's crazy. I think he's hallucinating. I'll get to see you every time I watch it. No matter how many times I forget you, I'll remember you again and again. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it is. And she smiles. I don't like people talking during movies, so if you aren't going to sit down, could you see yourself out? Yeah, I will. And then he leaves. Goodbye. Sayonara. Yeah, sayonara. And then he closes the door and he leaves. And he walks away. After that, she and I would never meet again. You see, I'd finally figured it all out. Figured it out. The reason I'd recut that film so many times. It's missing a pinch of fantasy, don't you think? Boom! Explosion! Bah! And he walks away all badass like. Nice. The end. Megumin. Explosion! Bakuretsu, 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 la la. Fujimoto is the biggest troll. An emotional tour de force that takes the manga medium to new heights, from Chainsaw Man creator Tatsuki Fujimoto. Well, I think I have to be upfront here with you guys and just say that I've never had to deal with death from a very close person in my life. I was barely friends with a girl in my street who was crushed by a heavy gate that fell on her. But I didn't really know her that well. We hung out a few times, but I was so young at the time, I didn't really understand death. And then, but her parents eventually got another child, but they divorced and da 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 da. So I thought about that, but not too much. And then the only other time I experienced death was like my cat 2 years ago. Oh, and my dogs, but they were put out because after I was away. So they died because of old age and cancer. But I wasn't there. So my cat died like right in my arms. They put him out with stuff. But that is still, as much as I love my cat, it is a cat. So I've never experienced like the death of a parent or friend that I knew, that I spoke to about, or that, So I feel like someone who has more experience with losing someone, they might feel differently. Like I said, I was of course sad when my cat died, but I was more sad for him when he was sickly before he was dying, and then it felt to me like a very, very peaceful letting him go. So it's different when it's a death like this, or a traumatic kind of death. So yeah, I think that people who have more experience with death in that sense would this would be a different experience for them reading it. which is part of what makes it so interesting as well, because every person that reads it will take it so differently, you know. The first time I read this was a shit show. The place I read it had the sections out of order. Oof. How? My grandpa died when I was 3, at grade 3, and my mother told me at the funeral that if I watch him, something bad will happen. And then I did, because my grandmother wanted me to say goodbye. So I remember I was thinking I'll die because I looked. But you didn't die. I thought Look Back got lost in the sauce in the second half, but I enjoyed this one way more personally. Look Back got lost in the sauce. What does lost in the sauce means? The worst death I experienced was when my brother's best friend died in a car crash 10 years ago. They drove to a party together. His best friend wanted to go home soon for some reason and left without telling my brother. What shook me at the time was the thought that my brother could have been in the car crash too. I remember I had a teacher in high school who sometimes, the first time I remember was she started crying while we read a poem. And then she told me, I don't know if she told the whole class, I think she might have told the whole class, but she had like someone that she loved they were in university and they were like madly in love and they were going to get married, and then he died in a car crash. And she could never like really get over him. And then she had 2 kids, and then her husband cheated on her. And I don't know if they're still together. But yeah, Cherry, I'm glad your brother wasn't in the car too. Like Dark Shadow said. See, that's a good response. I felt awful that my first thought was, thank God my brother is safe, but I guess it's natural. Oh yeah, definitely, nothing wrong with that. Especially at, a younger age. You just don't want your brother. I've witnessed some pretty bad days in my industry. I've kind of gotten a bit numb to it. My dad has also, with the trains, some people commit suicide on the tracks. And, it's not like he can stop the train instantly. So he's had to deal with that as well, and he's had to go to, mandated therapy. I don't know, it definitely seems like something that would stay with you. I like how the story kind of shows you the ugly side of the people, but then also the side, because everyone has an ugly side, let's be honest. But the mother's ugly side was a little bit too ugly for my taste. But I guess maybe, I don't know. God. But the young girl, she was 12. She doesn't have to be a well-adjusted adult. If she didn't want to date the guy and she wanted to be remembered like that, I mean, but it's still sad because this poor kid, And at the end, I don't think the end matters that much. I don't even know if he actually had a family and his family died in a car crash and he was the only survivor. I don't know if that's true. That might have been his character. The character he wrote. I feel really bad for your dad. It's something in his job that he has no control over. Yeah, luckily it's not like it's happened a lot of times. I think twice at most. But I know about one time. But I think it's happened twice now. Some people never get over it, and his work is actually filled with a lot of suicides, even people in the job, not just people on the tracks, because the people on the tracks are not people he works with. But yeah, he's been to a lot of funerals in his 40 years of working there because of lots of people commit suicide. It's not an easy job. I guess filmmakers' perspective can show you what they want. Yeah, we're not all one-dimensional. Thanks for the read along. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for sponsoring it. I'm so surprised that we finished another 2 hours. When I was like 100, I sat down, I was like 199 or something pages. 190? 190? I was thinking to myself, when Tiago said 30 pages per chapter, I was thinking to myself, oh my god, I don't think we're going to make it. But at the end of the day, it was very compelling pages, like the 4 comma style, if I can call it that. That's what makes me worry a bit. It doesn't bother me anymore. Seeing a dead animal on the road bothers me more. But yeah, but I think it's because, you know, when you see dead people, like a dead person on the road, for the first time, the second time, the third time, maybe it affects you. But then you gain an adult brain more and more, and it gets accustomed to it, and it finds a way to cope. So what you do is, what I've done, or you focus on, well, people die. Well, most people suck in a horrible way, and you're like, you don't get attached. You put up those walls so that you don't get dragged down by the trauma of it. But with animals, it's like you don't have a wall you can put up. Not really. Animals are pure and good, and like you think so, right? It's easier to think that way because the animals we spend time with is like cats and dogs. They're amazing people, creatures. But what I've done, because I've also had some traumatizing experience just from people telling me, like my dad saw a cat, and like still that image haunts me. My dad just told me about, he was driving to work and it was a really busy road and a cat had been hit, but it wasn't dead yet. And he couldn't do anything because he didn't want to put his own life in danger, and he had to drive past it. And I mean, he got nauseous and stuff, and like that, just knowing that, I was like, for a few days after that, I was like, Dad, why did you tell me? But at this time, I was 20, 21, maybe older, I don't know. But to this day, that haunts me because you have no wall. You have nothing that you can tell yourself to make it better. Really. Like, you can tell yourself, well, animals die, but do they have to die like that? You don't feel like, okay. So what I've been doing is I follow this thing called, to put up that kind of wall to just protect me from going crazy from that image coming up the whole time. I follow this account called Nature is Metal, and it just, every now and then I see like things, like an animal hunting another animal, or a picture of how a deer or something, or not a deer, but you know those things with the horns, and then another thing's head was stuck in his thing, like, you know. And then it's just like, oh my god, they fought to the death, and then his head somehow came off, and like seeing that kind of things, I don't know. Maybe it's immersion therapy, I don't know. So every now and then I see that, but I mean, it doesn't take it away. I still, whenever we leave the house, I close all the doors, all the windows. I make sure I count the cats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all inside. I close as I open the door, I watch my feet so that no cat can slip through. I close the door. If someone else comes out behind me, I watch the door and I watch their feet so that no cats comes out. Then, after the door's closed and we're all in the car, or Hanku's in the car, I go down the driveway, and because our driveway is at like an angle. So then, as he starts the car, I check under the car to make sure there's no other cat or one cat magically slip through, and then he can slowly come out. So I have quite the little, what do you call it? A ritual when it comes to leaving the house, or in most places, like even if this happens at a different place, I will walk away from the cars. Like, for example, on my mom's birthday, when we went on a trip, we stopped at a breakfast place, or a place to breakfast, whatever, and there was a cat. So then the cars were sitting there and the cat was here, and I was petting the cat and they were walking to the cars. And then I said, you know, come, please come. And then I watched underneath the cars, no other cats came out. I can see this cat, and I'm like, they have to drive like a thing around me. Yeah, cats love to sleep under cars or even under the hood, yeah. So you should just park the car a mile away. But then someone else's cat could go under the car. I would still do the ritual a little bit. But yeah, so in many ways, death is a traumatizing. It can be a very traumatizing experience, but it's something that we all need to deal with. And I do find stories like this very interesting because this is not something that the majority of us would need to go through. Oh my God, thank goodness our mothers wouldn't force us to film their lost breaths or dying moments and telling us we're useless. Oh my God. Talk about emotional damage. So it's better for us to, you know, read this, talk about it, process 1% of how we might have felt in the situation or how we think we might have felt in the situation. And that way, you know, talk about something as difficult as death in a more lighthearted, philosophical way, so that once again, we can, like, what is immersion therapy? Like, someday it's gonna happen to all of us, someday it's gonna happen to people around us. And, you know, if you have these kinds of discussions, at the very least, you will be slightly better prepared, maybe. Because, you know, if you live in a world of like rainbows and butterflies and you don't at least at some point have these kinds of conversations and it just happens out of the blue, either way, you know, you don't know what's going to happen still, even if you read 100 of these stories. But I'm saying, like, maybe 1% you have some established thoughts and feelings that you can then, okay, now this has happened to you, you have some kind of blueprint to just think about. And because sometimes it can be overwhelming, and it still will be. But I'm just saying, I think stories like this is very interesting and necessary. I'm curious about the part with the poop, though. I guess that's just a 12-year-old thing. Is it important to you which parts of the story are real? Not really. No. That's why I said the end doesn't really matter to me, because it could be real, it could not. I don't think it is, but I'm not going to overthink it, because it just is. And we won't know unless the author decides to, you know, dissect his own story, which authors rarely do, because it's kind of like, here's a story, interpret it, experience it, whatever. Most authors do that, and it's a good take, because, you know, you create art, but then how other people experience it is out of your control. So if you try and control how other people interpret and experience your art, you're going to be a very unhappy artist. The poop part is probably just the Fujimoto thing. Well, he pooping and throw up and stuff is part of life too. So incorporating that into this kind of content, you know. I mean, I know a couple in high school that said, like, they made jokes about having farting competitions. Like, I could not imagine. I've never done that in front of Hanku. Like, I don't do that. Girls don't do. But you understand my point. It's like, to some people, like, it's just another part of life. So just because it's really weird for me doesn't make it really weird, period. Agreed. Even when my grandpa died, I wasn't as emotional as some of my family, but it does give me some perspective at least. What do you mean? Girls don't even go to the toilet. On that note, I have to go powder my nose. So, wow, I'm surprised. This video is not only under 3 hours, it's under 2. I'm shocked. Wow. But thank you so much to Big Choco Boss for let me score it actually on AniList. I could probably do that. But it's one of those it's one of those things where it's like a movie. This is it. This is what it wanted to be. From beginning to end, one experience. Is there anything I would have changed? No. So it's one of those things where, well, it's a 10. What can I want more? When a story starts going longer and episode by episode, then you're looking at it as like, okay, this puzzle piece, this puzzle piece, this puzzle piece. So it always might be missing something until the very end. And so you analyze it as it's going, and then it's open to a lot more criticism. Whereas movies and like a one-shot manga, it's more, this is it. You like it or you don't like it. So it's kind of like, you know what? It's not to say I would give any one-shot a 10 out of 10, but I'm more likely to give movies 10 out of 10 than anime series. Same thing would go for a one-shot manga versus a 100-chapter manga. Yeah, after having had to clean a women's public bathroom in the past, I will clean 2 guys' public toilets instead. Women's public toilets are insanely gross. Really? Really? Because I go to women's public bathrooms, but I guess I don't have to clean them. But all that's there is the little toilet things on the toilet throwing away stuff, and then it's a bag, and then you tie it up. But I guess, but Hank always tells me even he goes to the bathroom, he holds his breath, he walks in, pees, and walks out. He doesn't even, like, he cannot. But I mean, we're from South Africa, so I don't know if that influences it at all. Not when the throwing away stuff is stuck to the walls. Why? Were you cleaning? Where were you cleaning these toilets? What neighborhood? He's got some serious lung strings. Well, he goes in and pees and comes out. I mean, 2 minutes. Yeah. And he says he doesn't even look left to right. He just looks, okay, I'm just going to pee here, okay, and then I'm out. First job working at the gas stations. You know, where people do drunk stuff. Okay. Yes, I understand. The bars or clubs and gas stops is where I can imagine. Because boys, they pee, miss, and that's it. You know? I think for the most part. And then you can mop it up. You don't have to get, but I can see, because girls spend time in bathrooms and they fight in bathrooms at like clubs and then at gas stations, and then, yeah, I can kind of see that. Okay, Sayonara Eri. Tatsuki Fujimoto. Assistant, Atsuga Yamagata. Oh, that's a cute picture. Minami-kun wa shiteru. What's the English name? Shiteru. Why does that sound familiar? Heroin とかよくわかんないから悪役令状と something. It has an 85% average score. Meta POV, coming of age, male protagonist, acting, female protagonist, 4 comma, family life, seinen school, primarily teen cast, disability. Okay. Tragedy, suicide, vampire, time skip. Tiago gave it a 7.5. Mordru gave it a 6. Jared gave it an 8. I thought it was like a 10. Like, it is what it is. Like, what would I want to change? Nothing, you know? It was a decent read. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, with movies and manga one shots, my parameters for scoring are different. So I can't really compare my scores to other people's scores because mine's too strange. Most of my ratings are in because I like that it was like it dealt with what I really appreciated about it was that it dealt with a heavy topic, but it didn't make it too heavy. Like, I hate it when shows are like, this is a sad story. We're so sad and everything's so sad. Like, okay, I can't read stuff like that. Like, oh, there's no hope and this is depression. But that's just me. I can't be invested in stories like that. This kept me invested. So, you know. Most of our ratings are influenced by investment or enjoyment. I give it an 8.8.52, but I'm no critic. Even the sentiment Eri said at the end was engrossing for me. And I thought it was really unique that it showed an abusive mother. I have not seen that in the many serious, like, stories. I mean, I've seen tons of abusive fathers and stuff, but an abusive mom, an emotionally abusive mom, interesting. A lot of stories these days are like, women can't do bad things. What else? That was unique. And like, I don't know, there were some things that I didn't like per se, or like things I'm frustrated with, like, why did she make him record and why this and that? But that's like, that's part of the story and what makes it, like, you're supposed to think that. Fujimoto likes problematic women. Interesting. Assassination Classroom came to mind with the abusive mom. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Barely though. Very barely, because Assassination Classroom, it was 2 seasons and it was just like one character and like a few scenes. It wasn't a big focus in the story, so I don't really remember it that well. Boy, are you not ready for BoJack Horseman? I won't watch that though. I'm not gonna watch a story with a guy with a horse face. No, thank you. And it's not even, no. Okay, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Not the horse face. Yeah, it was very interesting. I'm glad that I read it, and I do enjoy the what's his name? Fujimoto? Who's the author? Fujimoto. Yeah, I do enjoy his type of writing, and I like his style. I like that it's consistent. I think, like Chocobo said, the way that he made it feel like it's filming, that to me is the main reason that I've never seen a manga like this. It's so unique, and just for that, I don't know, it's so interesting and good. And then with the layers of what's real versus what isn't, and the questions, I don't know. It's very special to me. Not special to me, but like unique. And the uniqueness without just, because there's people that try and be different, and I just want to be different, and they're doing different things just to be different, and that's annoying. But this was different from anything I've ever seen without trying so hard to just be different. It just is. I don't know how I can explain that, but yeah, that's part of why I want to give it a 10 as well, because it has that. It's a part of the reason why I give most Ghibli movies a 10, because the Ghibli world is like, it's so special in a nicer way. Like, oh, it's so perfect and amazing and lovely and wow. Oh, and the visuals and the stories and the characters and the love. So yeah, I end up giving most Ghibli movies a 10 too. I don't think there's one that I haven't given a 10 to, but we'll see. So yeah, this definitely makes me even more excited for season 2 of Chainsaw Man, because now I knew it before, but I can see even more so now that even with all the crazy shit going on, there's a lot of depth to the author and his stories, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that from Chainsaw Man. How's Moving Castle? I haven't, but I don't remember that. I watched it, but I don't think I was paying attention because I don't remember. I remember like 2 scenes. And that's mostly because of GIFs that I keep seeing on Twitter. Maybe I can see here. Format, movie, sort by score. Castle in the Sky was a 10. Spirited Away, 10. Wind Rises, 10. Oh, Princess Mononoke is a 9.8. Why did I give it a 9.8? It's basically a 10 though. Why did I not give that one a 10? Yeah, there's actually more movies than I thought. Oh, Howl's Moving Castle is an 8.5. That, I'm deleting that. I don't remember that. Doesn't count. Does not count. There's a lot of movies that I thought I'd give all movies a 10. I thought I was like this crazy bias bitch. But actually, look, there's lots that... My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, Below 9, High Speed 3, Starting Days. Even Maji Madoka, like I'm... How? You said, I don't think everyone tried hard. 9.8. Hi, Bert. Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro, Case Closed, Kizumonogatari. I mean, Kizumonogatari Part 1, Teketsu, I didn't give that a 10. I think if I were to rewatch that today, I'd give it a 10. Oh, wait, I might have been mad about a person. That might be a little bit of a biased 8. Like, maybe I was mad about something. One Piece, Pokemon, the first movie. I mean, I think that deserves a 10. I cried. This is such a great movie. I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8. Oh, I cried, but 8. What the fuck? Steins Gate, The Girl Who Lived Through Time? I feel like if I watched... Okay, I need to watch that again. I don't know. Initial D Legend 2 Racer, 7.9. Just give it an 8. No, I'm joking. The Sacred Star of Milos, 7. I never scored Akira, but that's a 10. I don't know. I don't remember. I have to watch it again. Evangelion, You Are Not Alone, no score. Evangelion 2, You Cannot Advance, no score. These are 10s, right? Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Why? Why is there no score? This, I don't even want to put it on here. I want to delete it. I want to delete Made in Abyss out of my brain. Especially that movie. Anything watched during Attack on Titan season will always suffer collaterally. Maybe. Pretty sure the movies were before the part you were mad at. And the first movie wasn't anything amazing. The other 2 were though. Oh, okay. Where's the other 2? Oh, up here. Oh, here. Kizumonogatari. Blah, blah, blah. Part 3, Reiketsu was a 9.5. Where's part 2? Part 2, 10. So we got an 8, a 9.5, and a 10. Or actually an 8, a 10, and then a 9.5. I never managed to watch Made in Abyss movie. Yes, don't. No, I'm kidding. I don't want people to be mad at me. Watch it if you want to. That was my strike too. No, I cannot. I mean, and that's saying a lot coming from someone who watches ecchi shows that are very questionable. But if I can even look past that stuff, because it's just like, ugh, I couldn't. I could watch season 1 of Made in Abyss, but then the movie was like, no, I can't look past this anymore. Because the thing with ecchi anime, a lot of the times, it's just like, ha ha ha, oh, that's stupid, ha ha ha. But the way that Made in Abyss does things, it's like, I'm leaving now. With Madoka third movie, I think there was a scene that had too much going on for you. Maybe Madoka would have been... I could rewatch Madoka one day as the anime, you know? Because I think that you would... I think I said that during the reactions, that your experience as watching like 1 or 2 episodes per week might be different when you can process it differently and compared to a movie. I'd say the Avas are 10s, especially 2. I can't remember why you didn't rate them. I guess I'll have to rewatch them so that I can rate them. All of Neon Genesis Evangelion is very rewatchable, thankfully. I had to drop Made in Abyss manga. One too many pin-up pages of children. And it's not even like suggestive in a like in a way that's, you could make it out to be something else. Like you could twist your brain and be like, well, no, it's too forced. Did you watch Licorice Recoil? I did. Not sure how I would have got the TV show through a recommendation. Yeah, I remember. But it would have, I think it would be an interesting re-experience one day. Even if not in reactions. And once again, I don't want to make anyone feel like if you like Made in Abyss, then oh, you're weird or anything. It's just that my brain couldn't make excuses anymore. Because in the first season, some things I didn't even notice until I noticed. And then I was like, And then I watched the movie, and then I was like, now I can't unsee what I've seen and what I know. I don't know, like 100% know, but I know. I love Made in Abyss despite it. Great Lovecraftian horror. I don't know what Lovecraftian is. What did you rate it? It's like there's certain parts of JoJo's that I just hate because you're not writing a good story that makes me feel traumatized. You're using animals and killing the whole time to like facilitate the feeling of trauma. And it's like it gets old. And that's part of what I don't like about Made in Abyss. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. You're using children because that facilitates the feeling of making all of this 1,000 times worse. Blah, 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 blah. But that's not even... If it was just that, I might have still been able to watch it, but it's not. Licorice Recoil. I think I rated it like an 8.5 or something. Where's my score? 8.4. I think it felt to me kind of like, I know it's an original story, but it felt to me like this should be a manga with more, like the expansion. A little bit more of the characters, a little bit more of the scenes, a little bit more of the world. Like I just needed a little bit more. It felt like a manga that was adapted and kind of like the best highlights and done well, but still something was missing. I dropped it because I just feel like the show makes disgusting thing for the sake of being disgusting. That would actually be a nice way to think about it. It just wants to freak people out and be disgusting, and it's the easiest way to do that is to use children in compromising horrifying, traumatic positions and all these kinds of things. So if it just wanted to be disgusting, that would be the nice way to look at it. The horrible way to look at it, the way that my brain looks at it, that's not at all true or based on any real prior information, is that you know, I think if you know, you know. And just also how my brain thinks about it is like the level of character study you need to do to be able to draw like that, and the things that you put into your brain when you're spending hours and hours drawing that, it's concerning to say the least. Can't do anything about it because it's art and it's fiction and it's like it's out there and I don't want it to be banned and I don't care who watches it, but I find it concerning. The person that spent hours and hours and hours studying and drawing and thinking and imagining vividly, and yeah. It's the same reason like a lot of horror writers, I'm also like, I'm also concerned for like a lot of type of horror writers, but you know what, if you have stuff in your mind that you can't explain and you get it out through writing or art, and that's how you deal, okay. But I also wouldn't sleep alone in a house with Stephen King. I'm just making a joke, but you get what I'm saying. Actually, I haven't read many of his books. I've read like 2. So I'm just joking, but you get what I'm trying to say, you know? Araki of JoJo seems like the nicest, chillest guy in real life, meanwhile. But that's not the same thing. He's not... What's the focus in his stories is style and adventure, and he doesn't know how to make people feel traumatized, so he kills a dog off every now and then, which I don't like, but you know what? I can look past it. That's not the same thing. He has a wild, imaginative brain. It's not the same thing to me. Writing at great adventures, but being a homebody is a way to maybe live vicariously and imagine things like, wow, that's so cool, and da-da-da-da. But I don't know. Made in Abyss is different. Horror movies where people are being skinned alive and all these kinds of things, and like, or not even just movies, but like books that are going to detail, like I said, I'm not saying these people are bad people at all, but the more vivid it gets, the more concerned I'd get to spend a night alone with them. That's all. Stephen King is old and blind. You can easily outrun him if you had to. Yeah. So, you know, people sometimes, I'm not saying they are their art, but what we create gives a look into our mind. It does. Especially when we spend hours and hours and hours pouring ourselves over our work. And with manga, it takes hours and hours and hours to draw these things. And with drawing in general, when you do detailed stuff, you have to do studies. You have to see how, okay, and this and this and this, body anatomy and da 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 da. That's why I was like, okay. But anyway, what were we talking about? Sayonara Eri. It was very interesting, very unique. It gave me a lot of like surprising moments. I especially love that the title is Goodbye Eri. So you know from the get-go that this girl's gonna die. But then there's so many twists and stuff in between. You know, it's not trying to shock you with the death. There's a lot of other things that's you're meant to think about. It's not like something that's supposed to shock you. It's supposed to make you think. Is Mashal on the list today? No, but if it's out, I will react to it. Because I have time. It's only 10. Okay. I love the dad's acting scenes. The dad's an interesting character. he's especially realistic, because when your dying wife is being abusive to your 12-year-old son, how do you handle that? I don't know. I don't know about Japanese society, but I feel like in Western society, saying no, bitch, would not fly. Somehow it would be twisted that she's in the right and this man is in the wrong. And fuck him for like disagreeing with his dying wife. I don't know. So I really liked his character because it was realistic, but very frustrating at the same time. Okay. I'll see you guys next time.